It's big. It's really big. A lot bigger than I thought. So once again, I'm feeling pretty small here at SEMA. .49s. That's how big these tires are. I mean, I've seen some of the photographs online, but this Black Ops Jeep over here at the AFE Power booth is nothing short of crazy huge. As you can see, these are 49-inch Super Swamper IROCs. They're absolutely massive. It's also running what looks like ORI struts and Curry Rock Chalk axles. Of course, being that we're in the AFE booth, they have what looks like an intake for it. Some pretty impressive flex for something this big. So I'm sure they had no other way to make it happen, but if there's one thing that's kind of disappointing is that they run the struts in the rear right through the tub, and you can see that they built this whole substructure or some kind of frame to make it possible. It would have been nice if there were a way to keep it all on the outside so that you can actually close this thing up and drive it, but what can I say? This thing is all about being big, so that's the way, it's pretty much the only way you can make it happen. If you look here, they had to do just a little bit of trimming to clear these tires. Maybe like the whole rear section of the Jeep actually. Oh, and check it out. They got rollers. They got rollers for your tires because you know these tires are gonna, well, they would otherwise rub, so now they have rollers to help prevent that from happening. So check it out, they replaced all the factory skid plates with what looks like aluminum ones. It's pretty clean. Maybe not the most practical build, certainly not something that you'd use as a daily driver, but it's definitely a showstopper. So this, out here, this is Central Hall.
Yes, I watch your videos on YouTube. I love it.
It's a real pleasure. My name's Eddie, and this is my wife, Cindy.
My wife, Jen. I'm John.
Hi, it's a real pleasure. So let's go find Rancho. I think they're all the way in the back. Turn it on.
Hi, it's Matt with Rancho Suspension and Dynamax Exhaust. We're here at the 2018 SEMA show.
Thank you, Matt, for the awesome introduction. Obviously, we're here at Rancho. We want to see some of the cool stuff that they've got. Matt's been giving me some teasers, and I'm looking on the wall, and I think you need to show me what you got.
Let's go over here and check it out. So right here, this is our 3.5-inch crawler system for the JL. This is being released this week at SEMA, so we're going to be having it in the market in the next couple of weeks. As you can see, all new control arms. One feature over here you want to check out is this is adjustable on the vehicle, so you can set what you want, the angle you want on the vehicle instead of pulling it off, putting it back on. So that's a nice feature. Adjustable track bars are now out. Get rid of that bracket and go with a real track bar. So that's a really nice thing. This right here is our 2-inch coil system that came out a few months ago, and we're psyched because it won New Product Award for SEMA Show. So
congratulations.
Yeah, so that was a cool surprise. They liked the fact that we tuned each coil for the corner and the DRS technology. Over here, Eddie, you might like this.
Yes.
This is the front glide plate for the Dana 44. As you can see right here, that still lets you get into the differential and drain it without scraping off the plug or having to hammer on it and chisel on it and do stuff like that.
Did you happen to see a video on that?
I saw a video about that and it was pretty interesting. Another thing that you might like is this down here for Dynamax is the exhaust elimination muffler pipe kit. It gets rid of the stock OE bulky muffler and replaces this. This smaller, with losing that muffler, it's going to increase the tone, but you're also not breaking hangers or dinging that big muffler up and down all over the place. And if you want, you can check it out on that big blue Jeep over there too.
That's cool. Yeah, look how much higher it is.
Yeah, that too. So you don't have, sometimes you're going to hit your tips.
Right, so but it's still connected to that aluminum bracket.
Oh, it has that one bracket on that side?
Yeah, but it's so much higher, the odds of you...
And there's not as much weight on it.
Exactly. I'm really pissed off that I keep on breaking those things.
Dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're on your third one?
Yeah, so like it's weird because on the JK, the tailpipe would just crush flat.
Yeah.
and it was all good. But these things, it doesn't crush flat; it just breaks those things.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
One of the things that we have also done in the past is make new diff covers. The new JL diff cover will be coming out around 2019. But these are the rear control arm skid plates that also protect your shock from being dinged up.
So tell us what's made here in the USA.
So our coils are made here, bracketry's made here, our shocks are made here.
So tell me about these joints. These look like Johnny joints, but not quite. Are these greasable or what are these?
These are self-greasing and they're rebuildable. So we've been seeing long life on it. Most people are never gonna have to rebuild it because they're just not gonna use that joint to the extreme. But we do have rebuild kits for these.
So is it essentially like a spherical joint with high degree of angle movement?
Correct, and it will return to center as well. So it's not like a Heim that kind of just stays where it is static.
And so the like rubber material inside offers a lot of absorption, I would imagine.
Correct, yes.
Awesome. So this particular Mojito Green JL Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon is featuring the Rancho 3.5-inch coils and the long travel 5,000 shocks. Now what's really cool about it is you can see not only do you get the taller coils at our progressive rate and give you a substantial amount of lift, but the shocks provide an amazing amount of flex, as we've actually seen ourselves, and they come with these control arms, front, rear, upper and lower. So the kit also comes with an adjustable track bar, as you can see right here. So of course, for those of you who've seen our Rubicon video, this glide plate right here may not be the most attractive looking thing in the world, but in my personal opinion, it is essential to have if you have a factory axle, if only to protect that drain bolt underneath from getting hit and causing it to leak. Like I said, I'm back. How you doing? Long time no see. This is Pete from Energy Suspension, and today he's going to be showing us some cool new suspension products for the JL Wrangler. So right now I'm looking at this really cool joint made out of polyurethane.
Polyurethane.
And this replaces the factory bushings?
Replaces the factory bushings.
Do you have a sample of this so we can see like what it looks like installed? Or?
In the arm, well, we've got this arm right here.
Okay.
And you can play with it here. So this is a factory rubber bushing, right?
Okay, right.
Which is a good bushing, actually. Jeep did a really good job on it. But it's bonded, and it's got the limitations of OE rubber.
Right, the more you go, the more it resists.
Yeah,
right,
and then you hit this guy.
Oh, shoot.
Crank on it, crank up on it. So each of these gives an additional 25% of articulation in the factory arms with the factory metals over the OE rubber bushing.
No kidding. So the question is do these need to be greased in order to stay quiet?
All you need to do, you don't need to service them.
Okay.
The only thing you do need on install, you need to grease them on the inside.
So the question then I would have is that removing the bonded rubber bushings out of the factory arms, what, you need an air hammer or what do you?
Not even. You can just do it because the way that Jeep did them, they have a shoulder on them, but then there's convolutes inside. It's kind of got a little bit of a ball. So you can actually just get them out with a vise or a C-clamp or whatever.
Really? That easy?
Bench tools. Yeah, they're not that hard. When you get these, you're going to get them separated.
Sure.
So you'll install the outer shell, and then you just push the inner shell in there just with a vise or whatever. And it makes this really satisfying crack. It's like cracking a chicken. It's awesome. On this Jeep, we have it installed with our RockFlex kit. It's a 1.5 to 2 inch adjustable kit, allowing you to go, adjust for rake, or if you want to run 1.5 inches of lift for 35s, which really is all you need on these. We have the new RockFlex bump stop in here. So this is a performance bump stop. This is a bolt-in performance upgrade there, and it's kind of performance-wise, it's halfway between what you get from like an MCU bump stop and like a real air bump.
Sure.
So on this Jeep, on the way out here, we bombed on it hard, and there's definitely something there. It's not, the engagement is really invisible, but especially towards the end of travel, after you compress it, it's polyurethane, so it still has more to go. It catches the axle and slows it down, so there's no clunk to it. We've been very happy with the results from this.
So does that just plug into the existing?
This one, it just bolts in because with JL they didn't make removable cups like they did with JK. In the back, it just slaps right in. You just pull the old one out and slap it in there. And then for our kits here, We have bump stop spacers, which actually acts as part of the bump system. This actually takes a little bit of the shock loading as you come down on it. So instead of having a hard metal spacer, which will cut the space, which cuts the bump stops,
Right.
especially the foam ones, this actually acts as part of the suspension system. It's a lot easier on all the rest of the components.
So you said that this lift is adjustable.
Yeah.
Is this like a ring? or-
It's just a ring that comes out. Everything's got locking tabs in it.
Okay, so these stack together.
So they stack together and lock together, and they also clock the factory spring. The cool thing about JL, they really did these springs right. They're really, really long. And so all the key to them is you got to keep them clocked. So we developed a new isolator on top that keeps it properly clocked so it doesn't try and unwind as it stretches.
So
and
you
then
don't
we
have
use
to retain the factory isolator.
No,
up
you
on
get
top.
it. You get the factory isolator out of it.
But the lower one is still.
Lower
factory?
one's still factory. We didn't see any need to replace it. So we're a polyurethane manufacturer. We do make some metals, but unless we're going to step it up and really try and do something, wicked, there's a lot of good disconnects out there. But when testing this, the reality is a factory link, especially when it's short like that, is a really nicely made piece. You got a ball joint that's sealed on top of the boot. I don't know of those wearing out really. So instead of trying to make something like a lot of guys who aren't specialty hard parts manufacturers, they'll make a link, but then they'll put like a bushing in it, and it's not as good as what came with the Jeep. So after we tested this, we tried to break some that we found on Craigslist and we couldn't. So we decided, okay, so what can we do to make this work throughout the suspension cycling? So what we did is we spaced the sway bar down, we did the math on it, and made sure that when the suspension is all the way stretched out, that you wouldn't be able to invert that sway bar link, and it doesn't. And then for the Rubicon, we came up with a Smart Bar flip kit. All this is a hanger. You unplug the factory rubber hanger and you flip it around. It's kind of buried in there. And you get the Smart Bar out of the way, which you need to do with our kit. One of the cool things that we found when you install it without our spacers on it, it's a full Smart Bar flip kit. So guys who are knocking the bash bar off here to install stubby bumpers are going to be able to buy this separately and just plug it in and do a Smart Bar flip, no hardware, no BS.
That's cool.
So one of my biggest gripes is when somebody lifts a Jeep and they don't correct the caster
Right.
of their vehicle, and they end up with a twitchy mess of a vehicle. So what we've done is we have developed a caster correction bushing here. So this sleeve has set screws in it and a slotted bolt. You put it all together and you slap it in your bushing, and then that allows you to rotate the caster out, effectively lengthening the controller.
So it's a cam bolt without having to create slots in the mounts.
Exactly. But
that's clever.
it doesn't break loose because of the knurled ends. So you just lock this thing down. We can't get it to move. And the awesome thing is that with our 2-inch lift, that'll get you to 5 degrees caster. So
That's impressive.
It's pretty cool.
So just to verify to the camera, no cutting or no slotting is required.
No.
It's just
No.
you rotate this bushing.
you just
to make it
rotate that
possible.
bushing in and install it.
Nice.
So when we do the kit, we're just going to tell people to just sweep it all the way forward because these Jeeps love caster.
Right.
So you just put 5 degrees caster in it,
Right.
and it'll just line it up, and slap it together.
I should note that because the JL actually has an FAD, you can actually increase the amount of caster without any negative effect because the front drive shaft isn't actually spinning.
That's true.
So can you give me a list of all the components that you would get with this particular kit?
Okay, so with this kit, this is the ultimate kit. You're going to get obviously your spring spacers here, which are going to give you your height. You'll get the performance, the progressive bump stop set with all of the things to adjust for it. On the rear, you have an additional 1/2-inch spacer to help you keep the tires out of there. We're going to sell additional spacers here because we found that 37s are really tight. It'll come with a full set of Rockflex bushings, so that's every mount point on the control arms, as well as caster correction. It'll come with track bar bushings, the sway bar bushings, and then for Rubicon models, it'll come with the flip kit.
So what are we looking at in terms of retail price?
$875.
$875. And just to verify, it's maintenance free.
It's maintenance free. You set it, forget it, it's done. So
thank you
appreciate you
so
stopping
much.
by. Thank
Hey,
you
it's
very
my
much,
pleasure.
Eddie. Keep a lookout for it. Rockflex is coming for you.
Thanks, Pete. So we're coming up to American Fastbacks, who actually manufactures all this Cliff Ride product, which actually manufactures hard tops, and they offer all kinds of different packages for you to sleep in your Jeep, including pop-up tents, full campers, sleeper bed mattresses, wider fenders, you name it, they offer it, and they offer it with all kinds of great warranties and financing to make it easier on your pocketbook or to make it easier to get into. So let's go talk to David and find out what this is all about.
Everything's kind of started off with American Fastback back in 2013. Ken Mitchell and his wife Cynthia started right out of their house, military-based, hence where you're going to get that body line for the Fastback coming from the Hummer, military background. Kind of translated from small parts and ideas. Him working with Jim Hamill from Road Trek, longtime Class B, advocate, enthusiast, is a really forward thinker. Already had RV platforms on Sprinter, already had them on ProMaster. Why not take the best SUV on the market, Jeep, and bring in all of his infrastructure and now do full vehicles, turnkey, longer term financing up to 12 years, 3-year 36 Encompass warranty, and be able to give the consumer more Jeep, less money. This is my favorite right now, is this one right here. And I've been partial to the Defcon, the old Pathfinder top with the Safari windows, which is awesome. This is my new favorite right here. So, and this is going to be our new American Fastback top for the JL. First thing you're going to notice is the diamond-shaped window on it. So new labeling here. Here you're going to have a drip edge, if you will. So it's not going to have to come down. You're also going to have some attachability to this also. So there's more of a radius on the other roof. This has a little flatter, more streamlined profile, obviously being a little bit longer.
So I've already had a lot of guys asking me about your top. What kind of price point would we be looking at for something like this?
You're probably looking retail right around $49. Color match all OEM colors, or we can send it to you primer, or we can do texture also.
So then for $49 that comes painted?
Correct. And now mind you, this is all prototype, so nothing is perfect yet, but it will be close to once we're done.
Okay.
But as you can see, the body line's very, very smooth, very, very clean.
Oh, nice.
And mind you, again, on these you're going to have the full sleeper, which is super cool. Obviously the bedding and everything like that we'll start to put into the JL format and everything like that.
Are the sunroofs or the moonroofs powered?
Yes.
Is that what I'm seeing?
Yep.
Wow.
So they're going to be powered sunroofs. You can either do dual, single, or you'll be able to do a Targa. This was my favorite until the new Striker, On this one, this is going to basically be your Defcon package. Pathfinder top, Safari windows. Nice thing on the new JLs, we were actually able to extend this from our previous that was on JK, probably about 4 inches on this Safari window. So obviously everybody loves that whole look of that, just the whole Overlander, full feel of it. Full fiberglass top, and again, this is just the prototype, so it will come out even nicer in full production. The relabeling there. The biggest thing that you're going to notice right when you walk in is just the room.
Oh yeah.
This is huge.
That's pretty
you're
nice.
already loving the Jeep, but to just have that non-density and have that room. Cliff Ride is going to be for us, your more extreme off-road enthusiast / RVer, if you will. But still going to have the availability to be a daily driver. That's going to pop down. It's still going to be aerodynamic. You're going to have it user-friendly when you want to use it, but it's out of your way, if you will, to be as a daily driver. Something like this, you're going to climb up through the rear, and you're going to have habitation up at the top. So it's basically a poly canvas that is going to be coated on the finished production models that will wick water, moisture, and everything like that from coming inside, and so on and so forth. But this unit here is just going to be. It's going to be awesome.
So when you were laying down across here, you're a little over 6 foot. If you're up on top, is that also?
Yes, it's going to run about the same. You're actually probably going to end up with a little bit more over the front because I don't have the seats impeding.
Right.
Yep.
You carry all your gear, you still have a place to sleep, and you don't have to unpack or anything. Very cool. How much would something like this retail for, do you know?
This is going to probably retail around 8.
Around 8? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Can you tell us a little bit about this guy?
Yeah, this one is basically going to be our kind of top of the food chain, if you will, as far as your Overlander style. This is the new prototype for JL, so obviously the fit and finish inside is going to be finished out here in the next couple of weeks. This is again going to be another unit that's going to be after first of the year. All the same bumpers, accessories, and trim packages that you found on the other coaches that we were looking at is going to be available on here. But as you can see right here, it's going to have another availability to do a 4-person sleeper. Now on this one, we're going to have some extended height. We're going to be able to put tables in there. I think Mr. Hamill will have all kinds of cool things involved in this as far as inverters, some possible lithium technology, and some 12-volt TV systems, really things like that that are going to really turn this into Overlander equipped motorhome-esque capabilities. And that's where I really see this one going for your more extreme guy that really wants to get off the grid and have a fully functioning motorhome on a Jeep chassis.
Well, I really appreciate your time. That was extremely
Thank you.
thorough, and I
Appreciate it.
really appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. No, thank you very much, Frank. Thanks for stopping in, and we hope to see you out on the trail.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Thanks.